Do you have everything that you want? Or how would you like to be able to go from where you are to where you want to be? Or better yet, how would you like to learn a quick, simple, easy formula that you can put into action right now before this video is even over in order to get you on the fast track to getting what it is that you want right now? Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. My name is Rob Moore, award-winning author, leadership expert, and founder of therobmoore.com. And welcome to this video. If you don't know my background, what I do is I help people become better leaders so they can get the people that they lead to perform better no matter where they are or what they do. And on this video, we're going to talk about how do you really get what you want in your life. It's a very simple formula, and it's a formula that I have used over and over and over again throughout my life. I've used it so much that I don't even think about it anymore because it's so embedded in my subconscious. I know exactly what I need to do when I want something to happen in my life, or I want to bring something into my experience or into my possession. And I was at this seminar this past weekend in San Diego, California. It was an internet marketing seminar. Yes, I'm really into internet marketing. That's another thing that I'm going to eventually start teaching because I love the internet. And I use the internet to promote my leadership stuff. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. So I was in the seminar and I was reminded of this formula. And I was like, you know what? That is a formula that can help a lot of people. And I wanted to share it with you because it has worked for me personally over and over and over again. In fact, I can't think of a time where I did the three things that I'm going to actually share with you and those things not happen yet. This is a very powerful formula. So step one, what is the first thing you need to do in order to get what it is that you want? We're going to keep this very simple. Did I spell that right? It's a little sloppy. Clear intention. Now, let's break this down now. When we talk about clear, we're talking about one thing. What is it that you want? Do you want a certain amount of money in your bank account by a certain day? Do you want a promotion? Do you want to be in a different profession? Do you want another house? Do you want more kids? You know, what is it that you want? But when you're set an intention, you want to say this one thing that you want. I mean, you can do more, but let's just keep it really simple because I'm kind of just breaking down the formula for you. So let's just pick something that we want. And when we say an intention, we need to say it as if it is done already. So for example, matter of fact, I'm not even going to write it. Let's say a good example would be, I am financially free. You're setting an intent that you will be financially free. Now, if you want to make it more powerful, put an end date on it. So like, let's see where we at right now. We're in September. I don't even know what day September ends. Well, let's just go with October. I know October always ends on the 31st. So you got to be, no, I'm not even going to say that. So let's say our intention is to become financially free by October 31st, which is the end of October. I know the 31st is always in October. So let's say I will be financially free by October 31st, 2012. That's an example of an intention. So you want something like that to start with. Now, the next step, crucially important. My personal opinion, this is the most important thing out of the three things. Belief. You have to believe that you can do this. You have to believe that this can happen. So you know what? I am going to put this example up here. I will be financially free by October 31st. Whoops. I will be financially free by October 31st, 2012. Now, you can put whatever you want up here in your intention, but if you don't believe, I mean, really wholeheartedly believe 100% that you can do this, it's not going to happen. We don't even need number 3. If you don't believe that your intention is possible, if you don't believe that your intention can happen for you, it's not going to happen. It can be the easiest intention that you can set for yourself. I don't care how easy it is. If you don't believe that it will happen, it's not going to happen. The power of belief is this. When you believe that something is going to happen, a couple of things happen. Number one, if you believe that you can do something, like if you believe that you will be financially free by October 31st, your believing is going to make you move. It's going to make you take action. If you don't believe something is possible, you're not going to take action. And if you don't believe something is possible, you're not going to give it everything you got. If you don't believe that it's possible, you're only going to give 100, I mean, not 100, you're only going to give 50% or 10% or 20%. You're not all in if you don't believe that it's possible to become financially free by October 31st. Which brings us to the last step down here. Once you have a clear intention and you believe that you can do that, you believe that you can make it happen, you have to take massive action. You have to give it everything you got. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes. You got to say this intention over and over again. I will be financially free by October 31st. And the key with this clear intention and this belief is that, let's see what I want to use here. You have to create energy, emotion, conviction, and a burning desire. So you want to be saying this intention as much as you possibly can. You want to say it when you first get up in the morning. I will be financially free by October 31st, 2012. Not I will be financially free by October 31st, 2012. That does not get anything done. That doesn't create any energy. That doesn't create any drive. That doesn't get the juices in your body going. You need to create energy, emotion, conviction, a burning desire. You have to be committed to this. You have to say, I will be financially free by October 31st, 2012. Period. End of story. It's done. And in order to speak like that, act like that, and walk like that, and be like that, you have to believe that it's possible. Your belief drives your intention. And when you believe that your intention is possible, you will take massive action. And once you do those three things, it will happen. Period. In the story. Another tip that I want to quickly add before we move on is, and this is very difficult. You know, there's times where I'll have some big things that I want to do, and I kind of struggle with this too. So you're not the only one, and when I'm telling you, we're definitely not alone here. Another very important thing that you need to do that will help this process is you got to stay positive. Because just because you set an intention today, it's clear, it's powerful, you believe it, and you took massive action today, you might not see any results at all. You might not see any results until 15 days from now, 7 days from now, 30 days from now. But you have to keep going no matter what's going on. You have to stay positive. And the reason why you want to stay positive is because when you stay positive, you avoid ooh, this is really messy, which is not like me. You avoid negative thought patterns. Every time you have a negative thought, it's 16 times more powerful than a negative thought. Than a positive thought. One negative thought is 16 times more powerful than a positive thought. So you have to stay focused here, which was another thing I was going to write. You got to stay focused on your intention. You got to believe it 100%. You got to take massive action like there is no tomorrow. So much to where you don't even have time to think about this negative stuff here. Because when you think of these negative thoughts, all they're going to do is slow you down. So you want to stay focused here. I think I said it a little bit, but you want to say this when you first wake up every morning. You want to say it. I highly recommend that you write it down. I highly recommend that you read it. You say it with conviction and power, and then say it as much as you can throughout the day. And then before you go to sleep, write it out again. Write it out. Say it again with conviction, power, and energy. Because doing all of this helps this happen in a very secretive way. You see, the secret to making things easy, the secret to making things happen is to get what you consciously want to happen to go down into your subconscious mind. You see, everything that you do in this world is 95% your subconscious mind. There's so many things that you're making happen in your life and you're creating in your life on a subconscious level that you're not even paying attention to. And only 5% of the things that are happening in your life are happening because you are consciously making them happen. So the power is in the subconscious mind. So when you have a clear intention that you give with power and conviction, it helps it get into your subconscious mind. When you believe it 100%, you get it into the subconscious mind. When you take massive action, you get it into the subconscious mind. And the more you dig it into your subconscious mind, all of these things, over time, your subconscious mind is going to put its hand out and help you make that happen like magic. As I look back on my life, I want to tell you one of the coolest stories of how I actually seen this happen in my life, which is really freaking cool and really amazing. And then I want to give you one more example before I let you go. But if you know my story, I used to be a store manager of a major supermarket company. I ended up running one of the top 5 stores in that supermarket company out of 120 stores. Now, the really cool thing about that was, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I was with that company like 17 years. And I got promoted to store manager. I don't even know what year. I don't know, but I'm just going to put down, I remember it happened in January. It happened one January. I don't know what year. Well, just to make things easy, let's say it's 09. I really think it probably was 09. So January 2009, I get promoted to my first store as a store manager. And I've had several different offers to do other things while I was waiting to be placed in a store. But I was determined to become a store manager. I had an intention set in my mind when I went to the second, because I had to go through, the way I became a store manager basically is I went through this Retail Management Academy program. You know, it was a program that was first developed. I was one of the first to go through it. But they would take a successful department manager, which I was a seafood manager at the time, and they would put them through this program. And this program was 5 years long, and it would train anybody to become a store manager after 5 years. So I got in that program. I was one of the first to go through it. And I went through it. And while I was going through the interview process, I don't remember how many interviews I had. I think I had like 3 interviews. But I remember I had this one interview with David Golub. You know, one of the owners of the company, phenomenal guy, love him to death. I miss him. And one of the questions he asked me in that interview was, do you want to be like a zone director one day, regional vice president, specialist? And I said, absolutely. I want to grow as far as I want to grow in this company. But before I even think about doing any of that, I want to become a successful store manager. I set an intention right then and there. I want to be a successful store manager. I will be a successful store manager, period. And while I was going through, you know, my store manager training, you know, there was a point in there where I was waiting to be placed. So I was kind of on the bench. And I was on the bench for a while, actually. They put me on special projects. I was doing a whole bunch of different special projects. And during these special projects, there was some opportunities that came up for me to do other things because I was on the bench. And I turned them all down because I set an intention to become a successful store manager. How am I going to be a successful store manager if I go off and do other things? I was determined to become a successful store manager. Why? Because it's the most difficult position in the company. If you can be a successful store manager in that supermarket industry, you can do anything. There's nothing else in that company you can't do. And I was young. I was like probably the youngest store manager at the time. I was accelerating through the company really, really quickly. And I wanted to prove that I can do it for me and for the company. So that was my intention. I will be a successful store manager. So I said no to all those opportunities. The day came that I got placed January of 2000 and something. And I was so determined and I was so set on that intention that some really freaking awesome things started to happen. And as I look back at them, they really looked like they were impossible. So I get placed in this store, in the first store in January 2009. So usually when a store manager gets placed in a store, usually they're there for anywhere from 1 to 5 years before they get placed in another store. So I get promoted to this store, mainly because the store manager that was there was moving to Florida, went to work for another company, wanted to get down south where it's nice and sunny all the time. So I had an opportunity to get this store. And I'm thinking I'm going to be there for a long time. You want to know how long I was there for? 3 months. 3 months, and then I got promoted to a higher volume store, which was nice. It was closer to home. It worked out perfectly because, you know, I was having some challenges with my son in school, so I needed to get closer to home anyway, you know, for my son, you know, for my family, and gas money, the whole 9 yards. There was just so many benefits to me getting closer to home. So I was only there for 3 months. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. A store manager doesn't get placed somewhere for 3 months and then gets moved on to another store, which is a higher volume. It just doesn't happen. So I get moved to this next store. So what's that? January, February, March. So it looks like, so April 2009. I'm in another store. Now I'm like, all right, this is the perfect store for me. I'm close to home, you know, close to my son. I can take my son to school. You know, this is just awesome. You know, 5-minute drive to work. It was the best. So I'm like, I'm going to be in this store for a long time, maybe 1 to 5 years. Matter of fact, I don't even want to leave this store. I have no problem staying here for a long time. So, still was focusing on being a successful store manager. I ended up being in this store for one year, 6 months. That's it. That's where I was. 1 year, 6 months. Now, even though I was a successful store manager here, I still, even though that intention was fulfilled, I still kept focusing on it because I wanted to keep getting better and better and better. I'm a successful store manager. I'm a successful store manager. Not I will be a successful store manager. I am a successful store manager. I am a successful store manager. And then what happened after this? This already seems like this is not even possible. This just doesn't happen. This right here, little possible. But what makes this impossible for me is the fact that I'm the youngest store manager in the entire company. I'm a minority at the same time. I went through an accelerated training program, and I went from here to, let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So it looks like, so I go from here. So it's October. So it's October 2010. And then I went to oh, what is it? I went from 3 months being a successful store manager to a higher volume store for a year and a half, successful store manager, and then from there all the way up to running the number 5 store in the entire chain. I think this store was doing like $500,000 a week. This was doing like $700,000 a week. And then this one was doing about $800,000, $900,000 in sales a week. That's the power of intention. I look at this company right now and I just don't see any of that happening. And this happened because of the power of intention. You see, the thing with your subconscious mind is if you fill it with what you want so deep, it will give you all the knowledge, all the education, all the tools, all the circumstances, all the people to fulfill whatever it is that you want. You know, like I was having, and I did those 3 steps. I had a clear intention that I kept saying, I kept acting on. I believed that I could do it. I believe that I can run a store. I believe that I can run a higher volume store. I believe that I can run an even higher store. And I did it all successfully because of intention, belief, and taking massive action. Now, the last thing that I'm going to share with you before I cut this video, very important. Oh, this is fine. Just in case you don't know, that's a picture of a cup. You see, when it comes down to setting an intention, you know, not only do you have to have a clear intention that you have all this emotion built into it, belief, and massive action. The massive action is so critical because what happens is you get back what you put into it. So here, if you don't put anything into the cup, when you pour it out, you're not going to get anything out of the cup. So if you want to give it 25%, guess what? You're only going to get 25% back. If you give it 50%, when you pour it out, you're only going to get 50% back. But if you give it everything you got, when you pour it out, you're going to get 100% back. And if you want to take it to another level, to where you're giving it everything you have and some, now you're in a state of abundance where you're going to get back way more than you ever thought you were going to get out of it. That's what happened with the story I just told you. And I think about it every day, and I just kind of think about how impossible it was. But it was because of the system that I just shared with you. You know, all I wanted to do was become a successful store manager. And then it happened. But I wanted to keep going, and I kept giving it everything that I had. And before you know it, I had way more success than I had ever dreamed of. And that's the power of setting clear intentions, believing in it, and taking massive action with everything that you have inside you. And that's my tip for today. Now, before I let you go, I don't know where you're watching this video, but make sure you go below this video right now. Check on the 2 links that I have below this video. I want you to click on both of them, see what they're about, and take action. Hey, my name is Rob Moore, reminding you to show up, step out, and shine. Now is your time, so make it shine. Thank you very much.